What's up, strongest men, women, and children from blocks all around the world? I am my block's strongest man, and I'm on location today, so I don't have the greatest camera or lighting with me, but hopefully you'll stick with me through my World's Strongest Man 2021 finals predictions. Who will make the podium of World's Strongest Man 2021? That is the question of the evening. So, first of all, let's go through which athletes have made it through to World's Strongest Man 2021 finals. So, the World's Strongest Man 2021 finalists are Adam Bishop, Maxime Boudreau, JF Caron, Aithor Ingolfsson Melstead, Konstantin Janasha, Trey Mitchell, Brian Shaw, Luke Stoltman, Tom Stoltman, and Bobby Thompson. Yes, that's right. Both Stoltman brothers have made it into the finals of World's Strongest Man 2021. So, that being said, let's talk about the predictions for World's Strongest Man 2021. So, we'll go through that right now. And so, let's go ahead and share that screen. So, here are my predictions for World's Strongest Man 2021 finals. I have Tom Stoltman winning, so let's kind of see how that shakes out. Hey, what's up, Pad the Hut? Pump still makes me smile when your original predictions didn't have Tom or Brian getting through. It makes me smile too, buddy. The massive surprise really has to be Group 5, though. Yes, the massive surprise does have to be Group 5 with Alexi not making it through. It was really crazy how he had kind of a slow start, and then he looked like he had quite a huge resurgence, and then just couldn't get it done at the end. There has been kind of some back and forth discussion there and some discussion about how it was decided to break the tie that he wouldn't make it in, which was it went back to his pickaxe performance, the last event, rather than taking a count back of all of the events, in which case he would have gotten himself into a stone off. So there's been some controversy there. Although I would say there's also been some controversy on what he did on the loading medley, where he turned around backwards to move the frame, and it did drag a bit too for the little footage that I saw some folks posting online, the couple seconds of footage. So you could argue he should have been last instead of second to last in that event too. So kind of a little bit back and forth. Sean Myron is saying it's Shaw or Tom. I agree. I actually have been saying all along that I thought Brian Shaw looked strong and would be taking this, but you know how I do it here. I do the analysis and I do the math, and the math is telling me it's Tom. So, regardless of who I want to win, I want JF to win. Let's all be clear and frank here. And what's up, Hunger Smash Fitness? He's excited to see Bobby and Luke battle it out for Max Lock. I think everybody is, buddy. I think everybody is. I'm excited Bobby made it too, because I think I had Bobby making it through in my original predictions. And then I had that discussion with Big Laws, and we went back and forth a little bit. And then I decided maybe some of those events would be hindered by Bobby's kind of foot mobility issue, and I didn't put him through in my latest one. But, he's in. Bobby's looking really strong. And Laz and Liz are placing him pretty high up, actually. But the elephant in the room, like I have to kind of call this out. So Big Laz, Liz, I saw your video. I love your channel. You know I watch everything that you do, and you know that I love everything that you do. How in the world do you not have JF Caron in your top 5? To say he's not going to win, fine, that's fine. But seriously, what is that? Be for real. There's no way JF Caron's not going to make the top 5. I love you, buddy, but you're off on this one. I'm not a betting man, so I'm not going to bet you. But hey, how about if I'm wrong, I send you a My Block Strongest Man t-shirt, one for you and one for Liz. I got My Block Strongest Woman too. So we'll do that. If I'm wrong, you each get a t-shirt from me. Everybody on here is seeing me promise you that. But there's no way in the world JF misses the top 5. Be for real. So anyway, let's see who else we have. Bronx Chopped, have you guys seen the turntable on Terry's Instagram? It's so smooth, so fast. There's almost no way to make it heavy as designed to move trains efficiently. So I heard that it's actually not going to be for distance like the Wheel of Pain is at the Arnold's. It's going to be a set distance for time. So who can do that time in the that distance in the quickest time is what I'm hearing they're going to be doing instead. So that'll be really interesting. Ken Kidler is saying Brian, JF, Tom, Trey, Luke, Wildcard, Maxime, and Adam. Fair enough. So let me break down what I did here. And I also want to take this opportunity to just take one little break, and let me go ahead and share something else for you. So this stream, by the way, is brought to you by our friends at Garage Gym Life Media. So we do want to give an opportunity to really
home gym, especially if you're training by yourself, can be tough because sometimes you just don't have the motivation to go in your garage or your basement and get it done. And that's why we stream competitions every month on the Garage Gym Life Media YouTube channel. I'm John Greaves, the third founder of Garage Gym Life Media, and after 20 years of training in a home gym, I can tell you that there's some days when I just don't feel like training. And those are the days when I put on some sort of training video or other strength-related content to give me the extra motivation I need to get in there and get it done. There is nothing more motivating than seeing people achieving their goals at a powerlifting meet or a strongman competition. And that's why month after month, we provide that content to you right there in the comfort of your own home on our YouTube channel. Plus, we leave it up forever so you can always just throw it on in the background anytime you need that extra dose of motivation to get you going. And that's why if you're not already a subscriber to Garage Gym Life Media, I invite you to take advantage of this opportunity to add this powerful training tool into your arsenal, because I want you to succeed right there in the best gym in town.
So that's our friends over at Garage Gym Life Media. If you have not subscribed to that, please do so. Go over to their channel, subscribe to Garage Gym Life Media, and they actually have a members area for 99 cents a month where you get all kinds of extras and behind-the-scenes stuff. 99 cents a month, you can't beat that. I signed up right away myself. So they're doing really great things to promote the garage gym culture and what is possible working out of your own garage gym, like Stan Carradine, for example, who went to Worlds working out of a garage gym. So check out Garage Gym Life Media. Wanted to kind of call them out. And thank you guys at Garage Gym Life Media for supporting and sponsoring this live stream. So back to our discussion. I'll go ahead and share my predictions once again, and we can talk about Tom versus Brian. So like I was saying, I really was of the opinion Brian is looking so smooth and strong and focused on all of these things that he's going to win it. And a lot of these events in the finals do suit him very well, but they happen to suit Tom really well too. And I have him kind of going back and forth in a variety of areas here. So we can kind of talk through where we think this is going to land. But I'll break this down and then we'll get back to the comments in a moment. So Giants medley, I have Tom winning, and the reason being is I went by what the guys have been doing in terms of the qualifiers. Now, the medley and the qualifier was different, I'll grant you, but the frame is in both of them. And so if I bring that one up, I'll just keep it off on another screen so we don't switch back and forth so many times. But on the frame, it happened in the qualifiers, and it's happening as well in the finals. And so Brian, I think, is better at yoke than he is at loading. So I have him winning this medley. And then I have, I have Tom winning the medley and Brian coming in second on the Giants medley. Then after that, Maxime Boudreau for 8, Luke Stoltman for 7, 6 points going to Bobby Thompson there, 5 to JF. And again, using kind of what they did with that portion of the medley and what I think in terms of how much better or worse they may be on yoke or carrying. And then I have 4 points going to Konstantin Janasha, 3 to Athor, 2 to Adam Bishop, and 1 to Trey Mitchell there. Again, because he didn't do great in the qualifiers with that medley, and he's just not known for grip. So that'll come with years of practice, but just not quite there yet. On the rain keg toss, and by the way, we'll go through all these, and then I'll go through your comments of what you think on each of them. So I'll try to go through it quickly and not keep you waiting. Rain keg toss, I think Brian is untouchable. He's going to get the max height. I think Tom is a shoe-in for second max height. And then after that, it gets a little difficult. So I have Luke Stoltman. I think Luke Stoltman, with that shoulder power, will be able to do pretty well here. So I gave him 8 points there, 7 for Trey Mitchell, 6 for JF. And I tried to like the closest approximation I could get to this was the overhead medley in the qualifier. So I tried to see where everybody was in the overhead and kind of adjust for that. So Brian, for example, was not number 1 in the overhead medley, but he is for sure number 1 in max height keg toss. So I had to make a few adjustments there. And then, so 5 for Maxime Boudreau. I had 4 points going to Athor, 3 points going to Bobby Thompson, 2 to Konstantin Janasha, and 1 to Adam Bishop. So Konstantin was being interviewed during the qualifiers, and he was complaining about the heat. So I think that, I don't know if the gas tank is going to be there for some of these things, specifically the Titans turntable. And so I kind of took that into consideration, and that's where he might be a little lower than some of you think he should be. So that being said, we have the max log lift. So I think Luke Stoltman is everybody's favorite for max log lift. I'd be silly to pick anybody else. The only other person in contention for that would be Bobby Thompson, in my opinion. And so I'm giving 9 points to Bobby Thompson there. So I think Luke does the heaviest weight. Bobby does the next heaviest weight. Tom Stoltman does the next heaviest weight. So I gave him 8 points. And then we probably have a tie at the next weight after that. So I have kind of Brian, Trey Mitchell, and Maxime Boudreau tying in that next sort of level of weight for the max log. And then we have, so that would be 765, and then 4 points to JF Caron I gave. And then I have the remaining 3, 2, 1 would average out to 2 each if you think they're going to tie, which I do. So I have Athor, Constantine, and Adam tying on sort of the opening weight. And again, we can talk about this in a minute of where you think this will land. In terms of the knack deadlift, after seeing that Shaw Classic last year, JF is going to win this. Without Jerry being there, I think Bobby Thompson is the next best deadlifter. I don't think he ties JF. I think he's second to him, so 9 points. And then I have 8 points going to Adam Bishop, who's right there, right underneath the very top guys. And then we have a tie again, so I have Tom Stoltman, Trey Mitchell, and Konstantin Janasha all tying for the next sort of, and I think Knack was changed from max weight over to reps. So either way, I think those 3 guys are kind of tied for the next number of reps. So that again would be 765, and the next score would be 4, which I'm giving to Brian Shaw. And then we have Brian. Brian's not the deadlifter he used to be. He's a good deadlifter, but he's not a top tier guy. So you may tell me I'm a little low on the score there, and if I am, that might make a difference overall. So we'll see what you all have to say there. And then I have Luke Stoltman, Maxime Boudreau, and Athor kind of tying at 2 points apiece at the bottom of the table there. Titans turntable, I think Brian Shaw is going to win. He's got the size to really get that thing going quickly. So I have Brian, then I have Trey Mitchell after that. I had to take the guys that had the train push, the pull that became the push, and consider how quickly they did in comparison to each other. So, for example, I gave JF Caron 6 points here because he didn't do it as fast as some of the other guys. For example, Tom Stoltman, who I gave 7 points to. So Brian Shaw wins it, 9 points to Trey Mitchell, 8 to Athor here, because Athor did very well in that event. And then you have Tom Stoltman with 7, 6 for JF Caron, 5 for Maxime Boudreau, 4 for Luke Stoltman, 3 for Konstantin Janasha, which again I said I think he might just not have enough in the gas tank dealing with the heat and the heat at his size. 2 points to Adam Bishop, and then 1 point to Bobby Thompson here. And the reason why I gave Bobby 1 is because he has that foot mobility issue. So this particular angle might not bother him, and like the big shoulder strength might boost him way up here. So I could be off on Bobby Thompson here, and I'm open for discussion there. Then we have Atlas Stones. Tom Stoltman, clearly the best Atlas Stone lifter in the world, and Brian clearly the second. So 10-9 there. I consider Trey Mitchell the next best stone lifter after that. It could be Maxime this year, but I'm going to give Trey the benefit of the doubt with 8 points. And I'm giving 7 to JF, and I gave 7 to JF and 6 to Maxime. That could go the other way. Maxime might actually outdo JF and could possibly outdo Trey. So we'll stick with what I did here, but Maxime could be even better than this at Stones. Then I had 5 points to Luke Stoltman. I had 4 points to Adam Bishop, 3 points to Athor Melstead, 2 to Konstantin Janasha, and 1 to Bobby Thompson, who's notoriously a little bit lacking in stones compared to his other events. So those are all my predictions. And when you do all the points, it comes out to Tom Stoltman becoming the new champion. The new World's Strongest Man 2021 is Tom Stoltman in my predictions by 2 points over Brian Shaw, unless we discuss here and you tell me kind of that I missed something or miscalculated something. And I have JF Caron coming in actually 10 points behind Brian, but enough to get onto the podium in 3rd place. Trey Mitchell 4th, Luke Stoltman 5th, Maxime Boudreau 6th, Bobby Thompson 7, Athor Melstead 8, and Konstantin Janasha and Adam Bishop tied for 9. So let's go through the comments and see what all of your feelings are about all of these predictions and kind of what you think is going to actually happen. So let's see. Let's go back up here. Okay, so Bronco Pet says, have you guys seen the turntable on Terry's Instagram? Yeah, we talked about this. It's smooth and fast. There's almost no way for you to make it heavy. as it's designed. Interesting. So it's just who's ever faster. Um, okay, so I think Tom drops less points than Brian, but there are so many really interesting curveballs that'll be thrown with the events. Log and deadlift are going to be brilliant. I agree. I agree for sure. Um, Tom, I think at this point in his career is a better deadlifter than Brian. You can tell me if you don't agree. Let's see. They don't have JF Crone. JF asked them never. JF asked them never to predict him well in the finals. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Yeah, I know he likes to fly under the radar. So when we spoke, and Hunger Smash Fitness can tell you the same. JF likes to keep to himself and not let people know how his prep is going, and kind of come in and swoop in and surprise people, which was Dorian Yates's thing in bodybuilding. He would train on his own and show up and frighten everybody. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so that was the only reason. Okay, good. So Laz, I take it back if that's the reason. If you really believe JF is not going to be in the finals, then we have a discussion to have together. But if that's the reason, he doesn't like to be predicted that way, then I take it all back to you and to Liz. Take it all back. Agreed with JF missing on their prediction being weird and potentially Janasha. I've got Tom, Brian, Bobby, JF, then Constantine. Constantine, when he's in shape and ready to go, is a real threat. That's what JF told me as well. He said these events are all like Constantine is very dangerous if he's there in shape. Like I was saying, he just seemed like the heat was really getting to him. So I could be wrong there. And since Titan's turntable is now for speed and not to be heavy, that makes a difference as well. So we'll see what happens. Hunger Smash Fitness says turntable for time, I think, favors Tom. For distance, I think would favor Brian, but honestly could go either way. That's a good point. Tom is generally a faster mover than Brian, whether it's from Brian being methodical or Tom's just faster. I think that you make a very good one. Maxime is very bad at yoke. That's true. He has been really training it hard in the last year, or in the last less than a year since last World's Strongest Man. But yes, I would not consider him in the top half of yoke for sure. Let's see. Broncoped probably favors someone explosive like Maxime, to be honest. Let's see. Which were we talking about? The Giants medley. I think Laz and Liz said something similar. They kept talking about Maxime's explosion, or you might be talking about the Titans turntable, which I think they also thought Maxime would do very well on. And given that it's not heavy, you might all be right, and I may be off on this. We'll see. See what happens. Broncoped. Maxime's not great at yoke, but he has been training with a 500 kilo yoke all year. This is a 450 to 70 kilo yoke. He may surprise you. I agree. He may surprise you. Maxime, I think, surprised a lot of people with his stones. So I've been saying for a long time that Maxime is better at stones than people are giving him credit for. And it's only because I interviewed him and I interviewed JF Caron, who was training Maxime for quite a while. And it's just having information that maybe not everybody has. That's all. Not trying to say, look at me, I was right. But just having some additional information there. I bet Maxime beats Shaw on stones. Ooh, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? Hunger Smash Fitness, you're in the comments. What do you think of that? Would Maxime beat Shaw on stones? Well, he is fast and explosive, and the heaviest stone is considerably less than the heaviest stone he can lift. So you never know. Like, I believe 210 kilos is the heaviest stone in the run. So that would be like 462 pounds, I think. And I think he did a 476 in prep, and he told me he was trying to get to 500 before he made it to World. So you might be right on that one. He'll be able to handle the heaviest stones, and he may be able to handle the lighter ones quicker. It's for sure a good point. I like Maxime a lot, and I would love to see that happen. I like what Brian's been doing this year as well. Brian, kind of with the work he's put in qualifiers and how smooth and well he did in all those kinds of, deserves to win at this point, but we'll see what happens. Maxime didn't come close to Brian at Shaw Classic Stones. Agreed, but that was a long time ago, and he's been training a long time. So I'm not saying he's going to beat Brian at Stones. I'm saying he's going to be a lot closer than he was there. Maxime has had a concerted effort on Stones from then until now. It's been one of his priority focuses. So I would not expect that disparity again. Bishop is by far the third best at keg toss. He came second in 2016 against Brian. Okay, then you might be right, and I might be totally off on there. Where did I put him? Let's see. Oh, I had him last? Okay, so then you and I are way off, and I'll owe you an apology if that happens. So who would you say should be last? I'll ask that question. So if I goofed Adam Bishop, who should be lower on keg toss? Constantine too, I think because of his height would be better at this, but again, I don't think he's dealing well with the heat. I could be wrong. And Bronco Pet says the last time it was for max height. So you're talking about the last time it was for max height, Bishop did that well. Okay, gotcha. Deadlift is for reps, not max. Yep, that's what I heard. I think it was originally for max, or at least that's what I thought I heard Big Laws say that he thought it was originally. Maybe they changed it. I mean, wouldn't be the first time they've changed something. True train. Bishop is notoriously the best for reps. He is. We'll see how it works out. We shall see. Knack will be standard height. Interesting. I was wondering about that because I thought they were going to put toolboxes or something on the end. I guess the toolboxes are the right height to keep the bar at max height, or they're going to use platforms to make up for it. So that's interesting. Interesting to know. What are your? Here's a conspiracy theory. What are your thoughts in the audience about whether they made it for max height to kind of take away Novikov's advantage had he made the finals? Anybody think that was done on purpose? Standard height for reps. All right. I don't understand why deadlift is for reps in the final. They already did it for reps in the groups. Is it the same weight? I don't think so. Hassan says it's heavier. But yeah, I'm confused about that too. I don't know why they wouldn't do something different than what they did in the qualifiers. And so, sorry, Bronco, I just zipped by your comment. I'm trying to get back to it. There we go. Bronco Pet, it's 370 kilos, which is not that high. And then Hassan was saying it was 340 in the heat, so it seems higher. Bronco Pet, the reason it's reps in the final, and they already have max log, max height kegs, turntable, can't do more max events. That makes sense. That makes sense. Is that kind of based on your experience, or like, do you have inside information? If you do, don't tell us any more of it. I don't want to share things we're not supposed to share. Hassan says Tom tied with Brian last year on deadlift. They're on the same level. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know about that. It's a fair opinion. I don't agree. And I don't think Big Loz agrees either. But maybe you're right and we're both wrong. Predictions are a tricky business, right? It's anything can happen that day. Brian can have a really good day. Tom can have a really good day. Evan Singleton can be sick throughout the whole competition. Travis Ortmeyer can have a strained hamstring throughout the whole competition. Did you see that post that he made today? I couldn't believe that. I was really rooting for Travis to do well. And when he came last in the group, I thought, all right, well, he did well in a couple of events. He's been out of the game for a while, no biggie. And then he made that post after the fact about having that strained hamstring a few weeks out that really got aggravated on the first event on the loading medley. So when he was carrying the frame, he said he felt like his hamstring was on fire, and caused him some problems. He mentioned also, if you haven't seen this tidbit either, he mentioned that on the squat he had 3 reps on the squat. So clearly, we haven't seen footage. We didn't see what actually happened, but he mentioned that on the squat he was going for a 4th rep and got like very slightly sloppy on the form and kind of tilted a little bit forward, and then his hamstring felt like it was on fire again, and he had to dump the 4th rep on the squat. So he said it felt easy up until that point. So he may have been able to pass Gavin on the squat. Who knows? But a lot of craziness this year at World's Strongest Man with all of the injuries, illness, hamstrings, torn labrum for Jerry, like all kinds of craziness. So feel really bad for the guys. Luke Richardson, Graham Hicks, who couldn't even begin to compete. Graham actually he posted as well. He took some heat for pulling out. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with people. When you're going through that kind of pain, he's a very experienced guy in this, and he knows what he can tolerate and what he can't. And to give him grief for pulling out is not right in my opinion. So Graham, we're behind you. I can't wait to see you compete again. I wanted to see you. Your deadlift was looking incredible this year, so I wanted to see your deadlift and your overhead stuff. And I'll wait another year for it. And hey, maybe you heal up and you do some shows between then and now. But you got supporters here, buddy. Pot of the Hut do all max events. It's funny. Amon says Brian is a better deadlifter than Tom on 9-inch deadlift and 15-inch. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe he is, and maybe I'm wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. My wife tells me all the time how wrong I am. Bumblebreeze, it's so hard to make predictions this year. I agree, especially with certain events like the pickaxe in the qualifiers was especially difficult to predict. I'm wanting Sean and Tom Stoltman in the first and second spot, but either could take number one. That's what my math is telling me. So, I go by the numbers. If I were to tell you who I want to win, it would be a completely different list. So, in a way, I really want Brian to get his fifth, so I would have him up there anyway. I don't dislike Tom. It's fine. As a fan, I prefer Luke. I prefer watching Luke compete. I just like his personality better, but nothing against Tom. But if I were to pick like who I want to win, it would be JF Caron. I would want Maxime very high up on the list. I like Maxime. Who else on this list? Let's see. Those two guys from this list, Luke Stoltman, I would want really high up on the list. So I would probably pick like JF, Maxime, and Luke Stoltman on a podium if I were picking as a fan. But you got to go by what the math tells you, and I have Tom and Brian up there. 1 and 2 could go either way, but I have them 1 and 2. Let's see. Constantine is my dark horse for first place. Okay. So Christus, tell us why. Tell us which events you feel that Constantine will do well in. He's a heck of a deadlifter, so do you feel like he's going to really make up his points there? And in which other events do you feel like he'll be able to make up enough points to get up there into that top, or at least podium, we'll say. Not the top position, but we'll say podium. Be glad to hear it. Hunger Smash Fitness says, I think it's close, but Brian is fast with the stones, as we saw at the Shaw Classic. At the Shaw Classic, I was watching that, and I thought, like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I thought he's a little over the hill. Then he did the stones, and I'm like, he's not over the hill. I was wrong. Brian's got a lot left in him, so I think he's very difficult to beat on stones, unless you're Tom Stoltman. Unlikely about the conspiracy theory could be Luke deliberately dropping the odd point to finish between Tom and Brian on some events and help point. I don't know. What do folks think about that conspiracy theory? I was asking about the Novikov deadlift one. What do people think about this conspiracy theory? It's interesting to discuss these things. EJB Automotive, thank you for coming back to the channel and jumping on. By the way, anybody who's on here and likes what you're hearing, likes this analysis, likes the banter back and forth with me and my audience, make sure and subscribe if you haven't yet. I really do appreciate that. So just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And on this day off that I'm really trying to work hard to give you some content where you don't have anything happening at World's Strongest Man, I really do appreciate you showing some, showing your like for what we're going on and your appreciation for this analysis. And if you could just hit the subscribe, that'd be awesome. Check out some of my interviews with some of these guys as well. If you haven't yet, that might give you some more kind of entertainment to hold you over until tomorrow when the finals begin. So I have interviewed Travis Ortmeyer, Athor Melstead, Maxime Boudreau, JF Caron, and Hunger Smash. I always miss one of them. Who am I missing? I've interviewed 5 guys and I can't remember which. I interviewed Gabriel Pena as well, who had, there's that whole story about him not being chosen as an alternate or not being chosen from the alternate pool to compete. But anyway, moving on. Hassan says, Athor should be last on keg. Okay. Where did I have him? I don't have him that far up, but okay. So if Athor is last on keg, he becomes 19 points, tied with Constantine on my list, who some people will think will be higher. And then Adam Bishop would be 21 points, so that would put him, he'd still be he'd be in 8th. He'd be in 8th because Athor would no longer have 22. What do people think of Bobby Thompson? Do I have him too low on the list? Laz and Liz had him higher. So I think they actually had him in the top 5, believe it or not. So what do people think about Bobby's chances? Their kind of argument was, well, you got a max log and a deadlift. That's bread and butter for Bobby. And I agree. Like, if you look at it, I gave Bobby 9 points in both of those things, but there are other events. So that's why I have him kind of falling a little lower. But did I ding him too much on the Titans turntable for that foot mobility thing? Is it not going to matter so much since it's not as heavy of a weight, but more of a speed thing? Let me know in the comments. All right, we have a lot of comments coming in. Krista says, Bishop says he's looking forward to challenge Brian in the keg toss. Then it's going to be something to see in a month in the US and in December in the UK when they finally televise it, huh? I said this yesterday and I'll say it again. Like, that's unfair, right? I live in the US and I'm saying it's unfair that we get it so much earlier than the UK. Let's see. EJB Automotive, do you know the weights for the Giants medley? The heavier it is, the better Brian will do. So I don't, but before World's Strongest Man ever started, Laz gave like some approximations of what he thought it might be. And so let's see if I have that. Sorry, which were you asking about? The Giants medley. So he was thinking a 450 to 485 kilogram yoke into a 340 to 370 frame. So whether that's changed from them until now, I don't know, but that's what he was thinking at the time. Okay, so I hope that answers that. Rhino 4309. I think, is that Rhino Hyla? I think JF comes just behind Brian and Tom on kegs. He was a split second behind Tom last year. The heights were all looking good too. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Tom, I think Tom would beat Brian and has beaten Brian in kegs for speed. Kegs for height, I think Brian takes it. But if you're saying JF is good at both, then that would be awesome. Like I said, I want JF to win. So that would be awesome. But I have him 10 points behind Brian here. I don't think even that, that wouldn't put him close enough to get out of number 3 here. But anyway. Hassan says, medley is 470 yoke and 375 frame. Okay, did they announce that on Facebook? Because I haven't watched all of the latest stuff on Facebook backstage. So let me know where you saw that, and we'll make sure and get all of our information up to speed. Krista says, final should be cheese deadlift. Is that a Sacramento thing? I don't know. I thought that was a Wisconsin thing. What's up, WX Central? So nice I had to say it twice. He's been checking out my channel for quite a while. I really do appreciate your patronage, WX. It's awesome that you come by and check everything out. And I do appreciate your feedback on everything. So thanks for dropping by and tuning in. Proper Rogue just tuned in. Shaw's deadlift hasn't been the same since 2009. I think Arnold's. That's kind of the common theory. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But there's enough. He's not bad at deadlift, and there's enough other events where he's the best or close to the best at that I think he's still going to do very well. Pot of the Hut says, yeah, I think JF continues to fly under the radar. He's a beast, and apart from Max Log, I can see him finishing consistently top 5 on everything. I agree with you. So where did I put him on everything? So I had him 5 points on Giants medley, which is not top 5, right? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So he missed top 5 by 1. Keg toss, I do have him top 5. Max log is the one exception you mentioned. Knack deadlift, I have him winning. Yeah, so I have him top 5, except for missing it by 1 point on Giants medley and max log lift. And his whole, people bring up his log from last year's World's Strongest Man. So first of all, in the qualifiers, he did 1 rep because that's all he needed. And then in the log ladder in the finals, yes, he didn't do well, but you can't really judge him on one particular event. So does that mean he's going to win the max log? No, but it also doesn't mean he's going to come in last or whatever he was, second to last in that event last year either. So I'm giving him 6 points there. Costin Sutton. So full disclosure, this is my buddy. So let's see. Do you think World's Strongest Man will ever listen to the complaints of the fans about the structure of the competition? Costin. No, they will not. Our good friend CB over there is going to do things the way he wants to do them, and the way that the sponsors and producers of the TV show want them to be. And I don't think they will ever, in any time soon, listen to the complaints of the fans about the structure of the competition. So for those of you in the audience, what complaints do you think Costin's talking about? And Costin, you can let us know. And also, Costin competes, so if you're not following What's Good Baby on IG, do it right now. WTSGUD, baby. What's Good Baby. Follow him right now, or else my block Strongest Man is coming for you. So the structural things I think he's talking about are, first of all, having groups at all instead of doing something like WUS Bahrain, where it was 15 guys ranked 1 to 15 and just a straight thing with no groups. The second thing would be having groups that some of them do one event and some do another one, which could favor some guys and put some guys at a disadvantage. It's just not fair. And then let's see, those are kind of probably the two main things he means about structure. And then the stone off, I think, would probably be the third thing, like having a stone off or some sort of tiebreaker instead of just deciding how many people you're going to pick. So you don't have some guys doing an extra event that other guys aren't doing and tire themselves out. So let me know in the comments what you think about that structure and whether it will ever change. I do not. Ever is a strong term, right? Will it ever change? Maybe. Is it going to change anytime soon? Not next year. Not next year. Bronco Pad says Luke being in the final is massive for Tom. I agree. Like, there's kind of two sides to that, right? Like they kind of can work together and push each other, or Luke could be out of it and his sole job or role is to cheer Tom on. So which one is better? It's hard to tell. But if they're there together, they can kind of check out the equipment together and get a feel for the focus that's required on each event together. So that's awesome. Adam last place for Giants medley. Didn't he win it last year? Yes, but wasn't it a different medley last year? So this one is yoke and frame, and he struggled with this particular frame during the qualifier. So that's why I dinged him there. But yeah, so that's why. Adam's really good with loading. He was very good with last year's medley, which I believe was anvil into yoke. Am I right about that? I think it was anvil into yoke. So it would be a loading type situation into a yoke, and I believe I think he did win. I think he even beat Novikov, who was second on that one last year. But yeah, this one, that frame has just not been kind to him. So we'll see. Like, we'll see if he's good enough. Well, first of all, we'll see if the yoke comes first or the frame comes first, and if he's good enough on the yoke to make up the time that the frame has been giving him trouble with. So they changed that frame, for those of you that don't know, since last time. When I talked to JF, he was saying that big red 825-pound frame, or 850 or whatever it is, the red frame with the tiny handles really suits Brian Shaw, is what he told me. Then we get here, and I think it was Colin Bryce was saying, we've changed the handles to make them like not rip your hands apart anymore. And that might be great for some guys, and it might be not great for other guys who, either had trained it the other way or were used to it the other way. So surprises can be good or surprises can be bad. So let's see. What else do we have? Hassan says, sorry, your comment disappeared. Let me bring it back, buddy. Adam struggles with frame. He couldn't pick up the frame. Yeah, I got to go by, I know when I did predictions based on the prep, people were telling me, no, you can't go by that. People only show what they show, blah, blah, blah. But in competition from 2 days ago, people don't only show what they show. They do their best. So, got to take that into consideration. Pot of the Hut says, out of curiosity, do you have a day job too? Like Jerry Pritchett, like some of the strongmen? The amount and quality of content being pumped out, especially in the last few days, is great, but must take a toll on you. Yes, I do have a day job, and I do this at night. So I'm in IT. I manage a group of business analysts and software implementations, devote my whole day to that, and do that very well, and have been very successful at that. And that's kind of where the analysis bug came from. So if you've seen some of my other videos where I really go into depth with the BMIs of every World's Strongest Man winner ever and how they stack up, and creating histograms that will predict. Last year, for example, when Novikov won and everyone said he was undersized, I did this histogram that showed over time he was actually the perfect size to win World's Strongest Man. So all that analysis background comes from my day job. So day job in the day, family and YouTube at night, and mostly family at night. Sneak away for a few minutes, do some YouTube, and get that out. And honestly, to be perfectly frank with you, that's why I'm doing more live streams now. So I've noticed that the live streams, you guys like it. Like, you jump on, we're really interactive. You have a lot of great insights and information to share back and forth. It's working really well, and it's also half the work for me. Like, there's no editing and getting it perfect and getting that that intro that I put on the beginning with me dancing in the lights, and the thing at the end that asks you to subscribe, and that sort of stuff. So I'll still do some pre-done videos at some point when we're not in the middle of major competitions, but competitions like this where the news is changing all the time, it's very hard to do pre-done, pre-recorded like videos with perfect audio and all that extra work I was doing to make them perfect before. So live streams, like, to answer your question, live streams have saved me a lot of the work and made me less stressed for sure. Bronco Pet says, that frame is not a good judge. Many do bad on the specific implement that they do very well on other frames. Agreed, but I believe they're using the same frame in the finals as they did in the qualifiers. Hunger Smash says, also swing by my channel tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific to watch us discuss finals predictions some more. Yes, for sure. So Hunger Smash Fitness has graciously invited me to go over there and talk some more about finals predictions there. So make sure and head on over there. What is it? Hunger Smash, 6 p.m. Pacific tonight. To your point, Pot of the Hut, I may be recovering from this one a little bit, getting some family time. I might be a little bit late for that one, but Hunger Smash, he actually competes, so he's got a lot of great stuff to say, insights, and aside from competing, he has a day job too that is physiologically based and is really smart and has a lot of really great insights to share. So head on over to Hunger Smash Fitness at 6 p.m. tonight and check all that out, and I'll see you guys again there. So let's see, what other comments do we have? Colorado Awesome Sauce, you were here yesterday. You always have good stuff to say. I think Shaw will be a little slower on the Jets medley, a little slower than Tom. I think probably I agree with you. He's notorious for being slow and methodical in the transitions. I think Bishop will place way higher on that event as well. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. I keep saying we'll see. We'll see in a month or in December. We'll hear. We will hear, and we will see someone else's spreadsheet. That's what we will do. Bronco Pet agrees with you, by the way. Pot of the Hut says, have you seen the local news interviews with Pena? He seemed in pretty good spirits despite not competing and seemed to be making the most of the experience. Also, he spoke very well on camera. Oh, yeah, Gabe Pena. Check out my interview with him. If you like Gabe Pena, check out my interview with him. Those of you that don't know how well-spoken he is on camera, I'm not saying this because it's my video and I want you to watch it, which I do, but go check out my interview of Gabriel Pena. And if you don't know how well-spoken or intelligent or well experienced he is, he was a rugby player, he was a swimmer, you'll learn quite a bit there. Sorry, I'm gonna drop my light here. But yeah, definitely go check out Gabe. He's extremely well spoken. I think if Tom doesn't make any mistakes, he will win. Fair enough. Can you show the Terry Holland's Titans turntable tab? I didn't see it. I don't know where it is. Is it on his Instagram? I'm not sure. I honestly don't want to, because Hunger Smash can attest to this. If it was on World's Strongest Man's Instagram, you get in trouble for showing that. They will, they have an issue copyright-wise with that, so I don't want to cause anybody any static. We'll stay far away from that and just show my spreadsheet. Cheese deadlift was in World's Strongest Man, so was sausage hold. I've been looking through some of the old ones. I guess I haven't gotten that far. That's crazy. There was actually another contest, not the not World's Strongest Man, but one of the other contests. Big Laj showed it a few months ago in one of his videos that had a potato sack race in a strongman contest, and I'm like, come on, seriously? Cheese deadlift is the silver dollar deadlift, 15-inch, very famous. Taking away one cool point for you for not knowing. It's fine. I'm not that cool at all. But if I started from 10, I'm still a 9, so that's cool. That's all right. If Costin Sutton were still here, he'd know about that. He's good with silver dollar deadlift, but he had to drop out. Can you imagine the cheese and the heat? All right, let's get off the cheese now. Come on. It's not the same frame as in the qualifiers. Okay, how'd you find that out? That's very interesting. Did they post about that? In the final, it's a frame with 2 big barrels. Huh. That'll be interesting. Is that insult to injury for everybody that thought the barrels were a bad idea in the qualifiers? It's like, we won't make you actually hold on to them, but we're going to stick them in your face again. Let's see. Hassan says the handles are the same. It's just barrels. All right, we'll see how it all plays out. We'll see. It's difficult to predict without seeing them. Apart from Novikov not making it to the finals, the biggest surprise for me so far is Oberst nearly making it. I totally agree. If you guys didn't see my Instagram post, I'm like a total novice newbie with Instagram, so I finally figured out how to use filters, and I did the bug eye thing. Like this is what happened to my face when I saw Robert doing so well, and I can't fix my face. Help me. Yeah, I agree with you. He did very well. How do you think Robert will do in years to come? I will give you my opinion. I'm not trying to be mean. That was his best. Like, if that didn't get him into the finals, he's never going to get into the finals. So hopefully he proves me wrong, but that's my opinion from what I've seen. Please go full statistics on the next events like Arnold Shaw Classic, Strongman Classic, Moneyball. Moneyball predict the winner. I did Shaw Classic that way last year. You can go see them on my YouTube channel. So last year I did full statistics like this. Not full statistics histogram wise. I think that's maybe what you mean. Like like that's tough because if that's what you mean, that's tough. Because there's just so much news coming out all the time. I can only do this level of math. I can't do kind of box and whiskers and histograms and all those sorts of things. But if I find a way to do it, I'll do it for you. But that's a lot of work. But yeah, for sure, you're going to get a lot of coverage of the Shaw Classic. I got a lot of interest when I did Shaw Classic last year, and I think I will this year as well. And it's going to be twice as good this year with that great venue he has going on. Let's see. Pot of the Hut. Are we sleeping on Aethor? I'll admit to knowing nothing about him. I don't think I'm sleeping on him. I think that we're going by how he did in the qualifiers. I think he did really good in the train push, and that's why I gave him lots of points on Titan's turntable. So what I know about Aethor, I've interviewed him. So what I know about Aethor is he has or did have an overhead natural stone press record, world record. So he may not have it anymore, but he did at one point. So that's the strength that I know he has, and he's also he's fast. So he has speed, mobility, and overhead pressing power. So those are the things I know about Aethor. But is he the max log lifter that Luke Stoltman or possibly Bobby Thompson is? No, I don't think we would say that. Kathleen, are these your predictions? Yes. So you may have joined in the middle. Yes, these are my predictions. And so we're going through. Some people were correcting me mostly on Adam Bishop and Konstantin Janasha, on Adam on the keg toss. But yes, these are my predictions. My calculations tell me to put Tom Stoltman at the top and Brian Shaw 2 points below with JF in third. So yes, those are my predictions. All right. Let's see. More about cheese. Pot of the Hut. Saw a clip from Ober saying he was developing the entertainment aspect of his YouTube channel, so I suspect you're right about this perhaps being his best effort. Robert Oberst is an accomplished strongman who's very good in certain things like log pressing and not as good in certain things like deadlifting. And he just typically doesn't have the full package needed to succeed at World's Strongest Man. This was the best package I've ever seen of him. And now, if you're going to talk about entertainment, I try to be entertaining on this channel. Robert Oberst is 10 times the entertainer I am. He's an excellent entertainer, very funny. I watch most of the stuff he does. They're two separate things: strongman acumen and entertainment. So if he's trying to develop his entertainment even more, God knows what's coming because he's funny and entertaining now. I give him full credit for that. Just a heads up, Aethor log lifts over 200K. All right, so that would be 440, right? So that's a pretty substantial number. Kathleen says, not Brian. Yeah, I surprised myself too, but I got to go where the math takes me. So I thought based on everything I had seen Brian do that I would have him first, but when I did the math, Giants medley, Tom is a touch faster, maybe more than a touch faster. Brian may be better on the frame portion by a little bit, and Tom is a touch faster, so I had to give him the 10 there. They're very close to each other in the keg toss. I think Brian wins it, but Tom is right there. Max log lift, I think Tom is a better log lifter than Brian is. Deadlift, same thing. Brian's a good deadlifter, Tom's a touch better. Titan's turntable, I have Brian doing better than Tom, but now we're finding out that Titan's turntable is more for speed on a given distance than making it heavy and going as far as you can. So that might even go more in Tom's favor than I have it. Atlas stones, Tom is the best Atlas stone lifter in the world. So unless something goes wrong and he drops one, Brian is the second best, but Tom's going to win that. So it's difficult to argue against Tom edging Brian out here. But we'll see what happens. The only place I think there's room is maybe the Giants medley for the points to be different. So we'll see what happens there. My opinion, you are being too kind to Brian. Okay, in which events? I thought some people were roasting me for being too hard on him on the deadlift. So let me know where I'm being too kind to him. It's totally possible. Who knows? How would we? This is a great question. Pot of the Hut. How would we rate this top 10 versus last year's top 10 in the finals? And by the way, I got to run in a few minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, so we'll wrap it up soon. But yeah, that's a good question. How would we rate this against last year's top 10? I'd have to go. Well, last year's top 10 had Alexi in it, right? And I'd have to go look at who else was in the top 10. Try to remember. But that's a great question. I'm going to go do some research about that and get back to you in the next, maybe in the next stream. We'll see. Oberst is a legend in his own mind. Like I said, he's a good strongman. He's 100 times stronger than I will ever be, but maybe not 100, but a lot of times stronger than I will ever be. And I give him all the credit in the world for that. It's just competing against these guys in this sort of structure doesn't suit him, or has not suited him. I'll say that. Bronco's going to say Brian will come in 4th. That's not rude. 2 spots down from where I have him. That's not. He was 5th last year, so 4th would be an improvement. That's not rude. WX Central, I wonder what shape Brian's deadlift is in at the moment. Could make things interesting if it's the best it's been. Yes, it could. That would change things. That would certainly change things. Like on the where I have them on the deadlift, if he ends up like splitting points with Tom on the, well, he would be splitting points with Tom and Constantine the way I have it, and Trey. If I have him a step up from where I have him here, that could change things quite a bit. Giants medley for sure. You're being too kind to Brian. He's extremely slow in the transitions. Okay, fair enough. So where do you think who else beats him on Giants medley? Let me ask this: are the other guys I have right after him in the right order? Like, would you say since I have Maxime next, Maxime beats him? Tom was 2. Yes, I remember that Tom was 2 last year. Yep. Yep. Alexi, Tom, JF, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Feel like with the deadlift being not max, it's a bit of a plus for him. Looking forward to finding out. All right, awesome. Well, thanks everybody for all the great comments and for everybody dropping by and all of the insights and the back and forth and the things where you think I maybe should change things around a little bit. Really do appreciate you coming back night after night for all the great back and forth. And we'll see you again on the next one. And again, if you haven't yet, we'd really, really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe and that like button before we go. And of course, as always, until next time, ciao, homie.